Hello everyone and welcome to another Versus video. I'm Brad Nelson. Today I'm joined by Todd Anderson and we're going to be playing Standard with a sweet new brew. Now, Neil Oliver, some of you might know him as Limited All-Star.
You might know him as winner of the biggest Grand Prix ever held.
I used to have that accomplishment at one time, back when they were very small.
Yeah, back when a paltry like 1,800 person
It was
GP.
1937.
Oh, excuse me, sorry.
And he ended up, getting on the Pro Tour from a couple good GP finishes, and now he's a mainstay. And he was working on a deck called White Blue Devotion, and we'll be showing you that close. But Jerry kind of loved it, and he was working on it for a while, and he ended up doing a deck digest. Is that what they're called? What is this?
I think it's Daily Deck Digest.
Daily Deck Digest.
Like yeah. But yeah, you can check those out on the free side of StarCityGames.com. He does one just about every weekday, so he always tries to spotlight these really cool, interesting decks, and this was one of the ones he took
And I had to play with it. So let's get into it. This is the closest I could ever imagine getting back to Aristocrats. Even though you have no sack outlet.
Why do you keep... Why,
because
Brad,
you can sack.
Okay, so I know you guys don't hear this a lot, but Brad literally calls every deck that's kind of interesting an Aristocrats deck. Like,
I did.
He was even like, dude, the Rabble Red deck, because it makes tokens with Rabble Master.
No,
it's a Rabble Red deck.
Bring these cameras back up. No, that's not what it is at all. When we were testing for the Pro Tour, Team Revolution kept playing Rabble Red way too aggressively, not knowing that the deck can win on turn 7 and 8 as opposed to just until turn 5.
Yeah.
So they were like throwing away burn spells to get blockers that didn't matter or would be irrelevant in a couple turns. So I explained to them that this is a red Aristocrat deck. View it more like that than just a hyper aggressive Sly deck. So that's why I call it Red Aristocrats.
Okay. Oh, it just reminded me. So let's go and talk about the Spirit Bonds.
Let's talk about how this deck has the ability to sacrifice spirits, like Aristocrats, in Spirit Bonds. Now, the deck is pretty much just a devotion deck. You can tell, we've seen decks like this before with Afara generating card advantage, Supreme Verdict, Wrathing things, but never with this much long game. Now, we have just the mainstays like Soldier because it's really good against all the multicolor creatures being played right now, and it's a good one-drop. Precinct Captain and Boros Reckoner along with Bremaz as just the core aggressive engine.
Yeah, I mean, I think that all these creatures play both very good defense and very good offense, which is kind of unique to White in general, and especially in this format. And cards like Soldier, Pantheon, Precinct Captain just do a fantastic job playing D, but also just put a lot of pressure on your opponent. And they're kind of hard to kill. Like Soldier with Pantheon doesn't die to things like Azorius Charm out of the blue-white decks. It blocks like Rakdos Cackler, Burning Tree Emissary out of the mono red deck. So yeah, I mean, I love this core.
Yeah, but the thing that these decks were always missing was something to do with their 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th land. They would keep drawing cards, but they would continuously draw Soldiers and Precinct Cabinets late game, and they would just not have any way to dump their mana. And that's exactly what Spirit Bonds does for the deck. It not only lets them get tokens to generate more creatures whenever you cast one, but the secondary ability, the activated ability of Sacrifice a Spirit, give a creature indestructible, is going to give the deck a lot of reach in the late game. Removal spells become invalid. Yeah. You can combo it with Supreme Verdict. You can just
I'm very excited to Spirit Bonds protect Bremaz, cast Supreme Verdict. I think that's gonna be pretty awesome.
Another card that the deck was the archetype was missing was Ephemeral Shields, which is a great way to keep a creature in combat alive, as well as a way to protect against a removal spell, just going guy, and then they go Downfall, and you're protect it, untap, attack you. It's a huge tempo swing.
Yeah. My favorite thing that I hope you get to do as well is attack with Bremaz before blocks Ephemeral, or maybe even after blocks, but Ephemeral Shield with the token and Bremaz to give it indestructible, and then cast Supreme Verdict.
That's a huge play,
turn 4 Wrath with a Bremaz still in play is gigantic.
It is tapped, to be fair.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but that's a huge swing. It's just attack, keep it alive, play this, and then Verdict is unbelievable. Now, one of the cards that doesn't make any sense to me yet is the Hopeful Eidolons. Now, I understand that the deck has the ability to gain infinite life by having this on a Boros Reckoner, and then make it indestructible and put a damage on it. Your opponent will have to put that damage on it for you. But if you ever get to do that, you can just continuously keep targeting Boros Reckoner with its own damage. And since it's indestructible, it'll have, 5,000 damage on it, but it's indestructible, but you have now gained 5,000 life.
I just want to say that when Brad thinks infinite, he thinks 5,000.
5,000. I will only go to 5,000.
That is an indescribably large amount of damage.
I will go to 5,000 and see if you can win.
Okay.
All right, we'll see what that happens. And then Detention Sphere is just one of the best removal spells in the deck, along with Spear being one of the best ways to keep devotion for your Afara. I was thinking I was going to call her Ephemera.
Ephemera.
Ephemera. That would be great, right? Ephemera and Ephemera's shield.
Yeah.
But a great way to keep 2 devotion for this, so all you need is 1 other permanent, or maybe 2, along with just being a really good resource for a deck like this, especially with all the spirits.
Yeah,
and then
again, this. Yeah, well, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Again, this is just another card that kind of goes along with the theme of very good at offense and defense. You know, like being able to pump the Breedmass tokens or the Spear Bond tokens or even the Precinct Captain tokens. Like one of my favorite things to do when like I'm testing out a white deck in this format is Precinct Captain and Spear of Heliod, because a 3/3 first striker is almost impossible to block on turn 3.
Still is, yeah.
Yeah, and then all the tokens get the pump as well, which is huge. So.
Yeah, and then just some Elspeth to...
Because why not? You know.
Yeah, because why not? Because Elspeth's just one of the best planeswalkers of all time.
Yeah.
Maybe 4th best.
I don't know. I don't care.
Wow. It's beaten by its younger self.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think that one is more format defining than the old one.
You did not play that format
I
enough.
played a lot.
But anyway, guys, let's go check out the sideboard, and then we'll move on to battles. All right, so in the sideboard, we have, most notably, the 4 gainsays. Now, this is good against control, as well as, I think, mono blue. This might be the way they fight mono blue. I would rather see another Detention Sphere against mono blue, so this is probably just the best counterspell to fight.
It's a hedge, right? Like
Yeah.
it's one of the better ones against the control decks, but also has a lot of value against the mono blue decks. And the deck only has what, like 10 blue sources or whatever. So, you know, it's not like overly likely that you can gainsay on like turn 2, especially on the draw, because one of your lands comes into play tapped. But I think it's fine.
Yeah. 3 Fiendslayer Paladins to help out against Rabble Red, 2 Glares. It's becoming a really good card again, just because of Selesnya gaining a lot of popularity, and a lot of those cards are just annoying to deal with.
Yeah, and plus being able to exile instead of destroy things like Voice Resurgence is pretty big. Yeah, I mean,
and that all the Selesnya decks are on a ton of Banishing Lights. So you're going to want to have superiority in that regard. A 3rd Supreme Verdict against aggressive decks, and a Ajani Steadfast against anything aggressive and controlling, just being able to be a Planeswalker against control decks and be good against the hyper-aggressive decks. That's the one thing that I've learned about Ajani, and the reason why it is not that strong right now, but will later, is the standard format right now is so focused on mid-range strategies, and this is not a mid-range Planeswalker. It is a hyper-aggressive or control Planeswalker. That's what you're trying to attack with it. So once the format maybe redefines itself, and we don't see just so many decks trying to be a Hero's Downfall mid-rangey 3-drop format, we might see this card shine. A Dispel, good against counterspells and revs. This kills dragons. That's pretty much its job.
You don't have too many ways to kill Stormbreath Dragon, so yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and this is what we call the Thassa killer.
Yeah, I mean,
it's sad that Xenagos never really saw a lot of play.
Yeah, it would be much cooler if, like, flavorfully, you know, they were trying to go after Thassa in the end as opposed to Xenagos, because I don't think they realized like how powerful Thassa was going to end up being. Yeah. But yeah.
All right. Anyway, guys,
that's
I thought you were going to say something else.
Oh, no, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to be playing Jund Planeswalkers, slightly modified list from Yuki Ichikawa's list from the top 8 of Pro Tour M15. I think it should be a pretty good match.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah. Or I hope I kill him, either way, you know.
I hope I still am alive after this video is over.
I didn't mean it like that.
We have record.